Welcome back to Good Morning Enablement. In this episode, I'll be walking you through the top 5 jobs in sales enablement that I would personally choose if I could only have 5 roles. I'll also outline why I would choose them and what they do to help you understand what that's like inside the organization. Now, in case you're new here, my name is Maria White. I've been building and creating sales enablement teams for over 14 years here in North America for global teams. And I've done that for companies that you might know, such as HPE, ServiceNow, Twilio, and Cornerstone. And I'm very, very proud to say, believe it or not, that in the early days when I moved across from sales leadership role into sales enablement, I had all these crazy ideas that enablement people should be business partners or do things a little differently. And I'm very proud to say that some of my really crazy ideas earlier on are now recognized as sales enablement staples. So that is a baby legacy that I'm very excited about. So if you are new here or you're someone who comes back every so often, we would really appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel to help us to create more of these videos for other professionals. Also as well, hit the like button. I'm pretty sure I'm supposed to say that. But let's get into this. Let me try and give you those top 5 job roles that I would personally choose if that's all I could do in an organization. So if I only had 5, then I know exactly where I would invest those. And let's just, underline it and say sales enablement or revenue enablement, as it's being called more and more now today, is the strategic approach that equips sales teams with the tools, the training, the content, and the guidance to help them engage buyers more effectively. And the outcome of that is to drive revenue growth within an organization. So my first pick, every team will need a leader. So as it's a small team, I wouldn't go for a director or a VP. I would go for a sales enablement manager. It could be a senior manager, but that would be my number 1 role, someone to lead the team. Now, this role involves recruiting, training, leading the enablement team, but also as well being there as a business partner for the sales teams, helping them with initiatives that will drive sales targets, helping them increase their, the sales forecast reliability, and of course, performance. A sales enablement manager, just to package it up, ensures that sales representatives and the leaders are well prepared and equipped with the necessary resources to engage buyers and in turn leading to increased productivity and revenue sales. So why do we need the leader in sales enablement? Well, there's another 4 people. So we need somebody to manage the other 4 people in this package of 5 individuals that you would have in this team. And of course, we also need someone to do stakeholder management, and the leader would do that. The sales enablement manager would do that, and they'll be held accountable for their team and the team's contribution. So number 2, hopefully, is very simple. Hopefully you're already on that path with me. It's a content creator or a content specialist, as I like to call them. These individuals are responsible for creating and managing any sales content. Now, that could be a piece of training, it could be a cheat sheet, or anything that ensures the sales team have access to relevant, up-to-date materials that resonate with the buyers as they're in the process of selling. And effective content management, as I hope you already all know, it does literally reduce the time sales reps spend searching for resources, allowing them to focus on selling. Sounds really simple, but sometimes in organizations very hard to do. So this content specialist not only would be responsible to create all the different types of content and materials for the sellers, they would also be responsible for whatever content management system for edit, audit, and archive in the present and in the future. And, why choose this role as the number 2? Guess what? No content for the sales. There's no sales enablement. Sales enablement is all about making sure that you have the right content for the field to help them grow and to have better customer engagement conversations and drive revenue growth. Now, number 3, you've got a leader, you've got a content specialist, you've got all of this content. So now we need someone who's going to be able to train those sellers on some of that content that's specific to their skills development, or just like a product update, a product enhancement, or a solution overview. So the trainer role focuses on developing and delivering training programs that really do increase the skills and knowledge of the team. And of course, they provide continuous learning opportunities as well for the sellers. Sales trainers help sales reps stay updated on best practices, product knowledge, for example, sales techniques. All of these things together inevitably lead to improved performance. And this individual, the person as the sales trainer, should be, coming from a sales background would be a bonus. That's what I've always tried to employ. But also as well, being a certified facilitator of training, understanding adult learning is a must. And they should always be able to deliver on any sales-based knowledge, whether it's a spectrum of the sales cycle or development skills such as negotiation, closing. It could even be sales technology such as, I'm just going to throw a few out there, not intentionally, but, Gong, call listening into the calls and using that as a coaching tool, or something like Seismic or HighSpot, the contact management system, or Salesforce, where they are able to train on all of these things to help the seller understand how to use systems, processes, tools, and to elevate and give them that continuous development. So that is the trainer. And then why for the trainer? You can't have the content specialist also be the trainer, because your trainer, you do really want them to have credibility with the field. So bringing them out of a sales, having carried a bag before, whether it's from a selling or a pre-sales perspective, and being certified as a trainer, those things is what you're looking for when you're bringing a trainer into your enablement team. And now, over the last 10 years, for sure, more and more sellers are moving into sales enablement and then going back into sales again, maybe as a higher role, a leader or whatever. Or some of them, a good percentage, maybe 30 to 40%, are staying the course, and sales enablement becomes their only career path moving forward as by their choice. Now, number 4, I mentioned earlier the sales manager, is responsible for managing the team, but also responsible for managing the stakeholders. And when you're managing stakeholders, what you really need to share with them is how effective this resource you're putting into training the field is. How effective is it? And the way we do that is by measuring and analyzing a few things. So role number 4 is a sales enablement operations person, and they will be able to do data, maybe from an analytic perspective, maybe from a data science perspective, but really using data insights to help us in enablement to recognize what's working, what's not working by using the data. We call this using data insights to make good decisions in sales enablement, and we can present that back to our stakeholders, as we're continuing our endeavors year on year. So this role involves, as I mentioned on, analyzing sales data, identifying trends, measuring performance, providing actionable insights. And they do this in harmony with an operations team in an organization, almost becoming an extended member of their team. And they leverage data and analytics. And they also help optimize the sales strategies and processes. And this leads to better informed decision-making when it comes to the training that we're delivering, and also to some of the sales outcomes. I'll just double click on that a little bit. So for example, your sales enablement operations individual might be screening some of the data for a new hire and notice that in a batch of, say, 5 new hires, one is performing better than the other 4. They'll go double click down, have a conversation, and they might identify something that individual is doing differently. And then they can come back, to the enablement manager and apply that to the other 4. So that's the why. Being able to use data insights to make good decisions to help increase sales performance overall and improve continuously the sales enablement that is being offered. Now, last but not least, this is something that I've been doing for about 5 or 6 years, maybe a little more, in organizations. It's not, I would say that some larger organizations, I'll give a nod to, say, Oracle and Salesforce.com. They've probably been doing it for like 10 years as part of their rhythm, because they've got thousands and thousands of sellers. But it's not that common to have that role report into sales enablement. Over the last 3 to 4 years, I've been creating these teams called sales productivity coaches that live within sales enablement. And there's another video with a company called Close Media, all about that. If you want to see it, I shall put the link in the description. But a sales coach is focused on personalized support, not only to the new hires but also to tenured individuals. So these sales productivity coaches work closely with the sales reps to develop their skills and address weaknesses. Very different to your trainer. Your trainer is not doing a one-to-one training. They're doing a one-to-many, because there's a set of skills that needs to go across the team. The sales productivity coach, that's really your one-on-one development for individual reps to build on their strengths. So the effective coaching will lead to behavior change and improve performance, because it's individual. And it's like you're I'll use a completely different example. You're in a sales room with 20 people, and the instructor's going to come to you when you ask a question, but they're not really going to have the time to dig in deep with you because you have multiple questions that you want to ask. Well, your sales coach can do that for you. And it's important to have these individuals to ramp up new hires. It's one thing to take them through on-demand training or an in-person training, but it is a myth if you just go, if you do a one and done and you go into training and you leave it there, well, you're going to have a diminishing return of learning. I think you lose about 70% over 3 months. Whereas if you have this consistent reinforcement training and it's continual, you're going to retain the knowledge more because you're applying it more consistently, because it's there top of mind. And the sales productivity coach is going to help guide you to those moments when you can apply it into your work. So incorporating these roles, the 5 that I've mentioned, I'll just do a recap: sales manager, sales enablement manager, content specialist. Number 3, I believe, was my trainer. Number 4 is an operations specialist. And number 5 is a productivity coach. So incorporating these roles into a sales enablement strategy really will ensure that your sales teams are well equipped, continuously developed and supported, and it will lead to enhanced buyer engagement and consistent revenue growth as you apply these, as you apply the learnings from the trainers and the sales coach, etc., into your field sales team. So that's just me. This is, as I said, I've done this for 14 years in larger organizations. And if I was ever asked to choose, to create a small team, this would be my call for those reasons. I hope that this has been helpful to you. As I said, I will leave a link to the productivity coach chat that I did with Closed Media. So you can, if you want to double click down there. And not immediately, but we will leave a sheet with these top 5 and what they do into the description, so you can download it there for yourself to have it on hand. Well, that about wraps it up. I hope that wasn't too hard to listen to, but those would be my top 5 picks if I could only choose 5 people in sales enablement. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks very much, and come back. Cheers.